Yo, 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 what is up, guys? It's us, 3 Count Nation. It's John Penn.
Yeah, it's KT. And we are here for the 1, 2, 3 Count Nation. Hi, John, how's you going? How's it going for you this week?
Yeah, long week, whatever.
Yeah,
It's Saturday now, so it's over with.
I feel the same way. Um, let's get into it. Any fun wrestling things? What did you like about wrestling this week? Did you get a chance to get into any good wrestling stuff?
I watched the AJ Styles and Almas match from SmackDown. That was a really good match. I really enjoy
Yeah.
Almas.
The only thing I saw of that match, or the gif of that match, was when AJ Styles comboed into the Styles Clash from the pin, right? That was incredible.
Yeah.
That's why he's your champion. Like that.
I can't wait for them to have no restrictions.
You know what I can't wait for? I can't wait for them to actually start respecting that title again.
You mean putting in the main event?
Yeah.
And not putting matches on the mid card? Yeah.
AJ Styles deserves some more shine in this. I get that they're trying to elevate the Universal title, but that's
y'all fault.
The WWE title is still the title of the greats, the Stone Cold, Rocks, your Undertaker, that all starts and ends with the WWE Championship.
Yep.
And AJ Styles has proven night in and night out that he is the man. I mean, that match that you talked about, I missed SmackDown. I'm kind of disappointed. The 1 week I missed is one of the great matches I actually was looking forward to seeing when that finally came to fruition. They had one a couple weeks ago,
yeah.
I think. But I mean, just the series they've had, I would love to watch them go again. So at some point this weekend, I'm gonna turn that match on. But AJ Styles, in the land of the big men, AJ Styles is not one of them. And I get that, when it comes to championship titles, I don't know, there seems to be this idea that you have to be this, hoss of a person to really show it up. Really, be given that star-making whatever. I mean, I don't know. I just don't I'm just looking for a way to understand why AJ Styles isn't being really given more respect in terms of just, where the title is placed on cards, and just this positioning of even the storyline with Joe itself is less about the title and more about Joe just trying to get into AJ Styles' head about Wendy.
Yeah.
Wendy. You want to go to Wendy's?
Is there a Wendy's near here?
There is a Wendy's near here. It's actually on Milwaukee Avenue. It's right off the train, the Blue Line, California. Yeah. And they still have that 50-cent frosty joint going on too.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to Wendy's.
Oh shit! I didn't even. Yeah, that was a thing though. But that's what I mean. The championship has kind of become an afterthought in a rivalry that's really good. And 10 years in the making? I mean, Joe and AJ have had amazing matches in Ring of Honor. I almost said that. And Impact. I want to call Impact so many different things, but it's Impact right now, so.
They didn't have a match when they were both in Ring of Honor together?
You know what? Maybe they did, and I'm just tweaking because that is so far back, and I haven't seen the Joe's Ring of Honor stuff in almost years. A very long time since I've actually watched some of Joe's stuff from Ring of Honor. So yeah, they may have. So what do you think? Am I just kind of blowing smoke, or is there more to, or do you think that there needs to be more in terms of just giving the WWE title that premier look?
Yeah, I mean, Vince McMahon still runs the pay-per-views, so the card setup 9 times out of 10 is his call. So he doesn't view the WWE Championship as the main focal point of the pay-per-view. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, over the course of the years, since the brand split, the WWE Championship has already been established. So it's like for me in my head, if I'm creating a story, quote unquote, and I want it to be about something that I need to explain, I'm not gonna have the story cap off with what's already been established. The WWE Championship has already been established, so in order to get the attention on the next big thing, the other big title, you gotta give that the story points. At least in my opinion, like that's the only reason why I understand as to why it's getting the main event because it's whenever it was defended, it was on last. So I think it was just like in order to get people involved more with the universe or give it more exposure, you gotta put it last. And also because that's probably what was in Brock Lesnar's contract. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, those Brock Lesnar contracts. Well, it's good to see that was something that was really cool for your wrestling week. I enjoyed some New Japan time this week. It's not as much as I wanted to, but it's because I've been very busy. But I did see that one of my favorite Suzuki Gun members is now a champion. Tai Chi is the neverweight champion, and that makes me really happy because he was in the G1, and I thought he should have had a spot in the G1 there with his teammate Zack Sabre Jr. Like he shouldn't have been alone in representing Suzuki Gun in the G1. So I'm happy that here he was beating Goto, who I am not that big a fan of Goto. Like I just
his booking.
Not in his booking. Like he's a great wrestler. Like I don't know. I just maybe it is his booking, John. Maybe you're right. I just don't find it. I don't have a reason to get behind. Or no, yeah, it's definitely his booking. Because honestly, I was really into him when he was fighting Shibata. Like the matches they had were amazing. I just don't think Goto doesn't have that pull for me as a wrestler like other New Japan wrestlers do. So when he won the title back from Michael Elgin, which I was actually happy for because I'm not a fan of Michael Elgin.
Like
It was really weird. Yeah, it was a really weird switch of the title position anyway. Just like Elgin beat him just for him to win it back.
Yeah.
Very quickly. So I'm happy Tai Chi's there. I mean, Tai Chi is just a really good heel. Like I love his heel work. Everything he does with that microphone stand, just him as this like just cocky singer who never really gets to sing. Like they always play over his music at times.
So he's the Japanese Elias.
Essentially, but he wrestles, and he wrestles very often. Yeah, like he actually uses like his microphone, his mic stand, in all his matches. It is great, and then just me. I'm also a fan of Suzuki Gun. Anything with Suzuki Gun right now, like they're hot. Like all the factions in New Japan right now, they're the strongest faction because they aren't splintered and they aren't like having inner office turmoil like Chaos, or they haven't split up like Bullet Club. Like Suzuki Gun is just.
LIJ.
Oh yeah, I mean LIJ is
They're like the
LIJ is like they're in their own like geek. Like,
so in terms of everything except for LIJ.
Exactly. Like I wasn't like LIJ. They always like.
We didn't have to say that.
Yeah, we don't even have to. Like that's the group, man. They're there. Like they actually had a match. It was killer. It was during the Destruction Tour. There was a Suzuki Gun versus LIJ match, and it was fun because also Suzuki's going to wrestle Naito, and it's another match I'm looking forward to seeing as well. I didn't get to see that match, so it's kind of playing in the background here as.
That's one LA, right?
No, that's the one that's actually in Japan.
Oh.
They actually wrestled in Japan for that one. But yeah, that was my fun, happy thing of the week. For just in terms of wrestling that I liked and that made me happy. So
there was another one that I was going to get at. Title versus title, NXT.
Yes, I watched that match on Thursday.
Yeah, Ricochet versus Pete Dunne.
Oh my goodness.
Is it Dunne or is it Dune?
I always say done.
Yeah, I think
Maybe it's Dune. I don't know. There's that E, but like it's maybe it's a silent E.
Right.
But
that match. Holy schmoly.
Actually, that's mine for the week too. That was super fun. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you kind of knew there wasn't going to be a clean finish.
Oh, absolutely not. Not on free TV.
Not on free TV. Yeah, they're not going to do that. But what they give us,
man,
up until the ending was just phenomenal. I mean, there was just great back and forth there. There really was.
Once Ricochet gets his mic skills, it's over with.
Yeah. Honestly, Ricochet is really good at selling. Like, there were times where I thought that match was just over. like, he is really good at just, like, taking a beating. Because Pete was just whooping that ass. So that was actually on my list of really good stuff that week, too. Oh, did you see Cedric Alexander and Drew Gulak?
After you were finished, I kid you not, I was going to bring that up. Kid you not.
Dude, that was...
WWE had some gems.
Dude, okay, so 205 Live not being on Tuesday, A+. A+. Because it's... I think the other reason I enjoyed Gulak and Cedric Alexander is because the crowd was into it. There was an actual full crowd there. Like, that was... It's amazing what a full crowd will do for just, like, the intensity of a match.
And not the sleepy people that stayed.
Yeah, who stayed like 8 hours of wrestling and still got to get their kids home to get up for school in the morning.
Because it's a Tuesday
night. But yeah, that match was another just.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I missed Raw, I missed SmackDown, but I enjoyed NXT, and 205 Live continues to just be like when it's been consistent. Like, and now they have a crowd continue for the consistency to build upon. So, watching wrestling towards the end of the week was better than watching wrestling at the beginning of said week. Not to rag on SmackDown, because SmackDown actually has been pretty good too. I just was really tired on Tuesday.
No, SmackDown had some gems.
Yeah, SmackDown actually. Becky Lynch continued.
It's amazing. SmackDown is great now.
It's the best.
Oh, we had that sad moment though. Are we?
Which one with
New Day? I mean, Rusev Day.
Yeah, rest in peace. Well, yeah, we'll get there. Well, that's gonna be the later. Yeah, but we'll get there. As in terms of just like aftermath stuff of Hell in a Cell. Do you want to? Let's get into news and rumors though.
Yeah, interesting news that went around this week, addressing some rumors that were going around this week involving Ray Phoenix and Pentagon Jr. potentially signing with WWE.
The Lucha Brothers.
Lucha Bros won't be signing apparently until the next 2 years, until 2020.
Yeah.
The earliest, because they have a no compete clause for Lucha Underground. So until season 4 for LU is complete, they won't be able to go anywhere else. That's why Prince Puma took forever to get to WWE.
Oh yeah, that was I remember that.
Yeah, same thing.
So I mean, honestly, I'm really okay with that. I'm not liking that WWE is trying to just gobble up every piece of just really good wrestling talent on the indies. I mean, they're already scouting Bandito, and he just blew up. Like
literally at all in.
Bandito. I mean, here's the thing. Like, we say that, but like that because we've like we were both exposed to him at All In, but Bandito had been doing like the business and being amazing for a while. It's just that All In made his platform that much bigger. So even for myself, like I didn't know shit about Bandito until I saw that he was going to be at All In, and then I went back and watched his stuff, and he's been good and good on the Young Bucks for giving him the platform to like really show off what he can do at All In. But god damn it, WWE, slow the F down. Even when it's like you're scouting people, it's like, dude, let him come to Chicago a little bit more because I want to see him. just being selfish, I need to see him in person a few more times. But just objectively, I think that in terms of what the WWE has right now on its roster, we keep saying, like we said it here, We say it under Perfect Strangers. I feel like we say it everywhere. Like there's just far too much talent on the WWE roster.
You got so much talent they don't know what to do with it.
They don't know what to do, and they legitimately don't know what to do with it. Like remember when we said we weren't getting so many more pay-per-views? Now we're getting more. Yet they still refuse to put like more people on said pay-per-views. And you're bringing. Well, we'll get to like Undertaker HBK, I'm sure, in news and stuff later. But let's keep going with news. But yeah, that's exciting.
Sasha Banks and Alexa Bliss are both injured.
Yeah. So are we not like concerned about Bliss and this arm stuff from Rousey?
But remember, she was doing weird shit with Becky too.
Yeah, I guess I was just wondering because it seemed like Bliss seemed to be fine. She was hurt a while ago, but let's remember that she's been like a 5-time champion, so she's been consistent. Like even if she's had like injuries, she's still kind of like worked through them. So the fact that she's actually missing house dates, I think, is interesting. So I'm hoping that this isn't a thing because of Rousey not being safe, or it's just an inevitable injury. So that's all. That's all I was thinking about. But if that's the case, then that's let's get some rest. In all honesty, like she's been carrying. I don't think they really need her. Like she shouldn't be having to carry the women's division. Not when you have like Bayley and Sasha Banks.
She shouldn't have been carrying the division when you have the likes of Bayley and Sasha Banks, because that's neither here nor there.
Spicy take. You're not wrong though. The only thing that Bayley did on Raw was like she came out with the kids from Connor's Cure, and I think Bayley was in a match, and it's just like, man, how they've fallen so far. Like they aren't even in a discussion for a women's title that includes Ronda Rousey. I don't know. I'm really hoping for those women tag team titles. Right. I'm really hoping for those, but even then, I would want the Iconics to win. I would want the Iconics to be the first women's tag team champions because it works. It just like they're awesome, and maybe Sasha Bayley can chase, but also that also means that necessarily wouldn't happen because they're on two different brands. So what the F are you chasing?
Or they lose, and that's what causes them to finally have their match, a good series of matches with an actual heel Sasha, like literally beating Bayley, like ripping her inflatable arm people off.
Just slashing the wacky arm flailing people.
Yeah, beating Bayley with like baseball bats or something.
Wow.
Like for real, like go crazy. Hit her with those brass knuckles that say legit balls. Have them show like legit balls but reversed, embroiled, or and there's gonna be on her skin. Like show dents of that on Bayley's skin to show that Sasha beat her up with one.
That's not gonna happen. I think that the moment's passed on that. I think that's if they do it now, it'd have to be really good. I just don't see it happening at this point. More news. So Jason Jordan's injury is worse than expected?
Man.
That sucks.
Like father, like son, huh?
Dude, wrestling career may be over?
Supposedly.
Like, possibly? Like, so was it a neck injury?
Neck injury.
That's tough. I don't even know. Jason Jordan was an anomaly. Wasn't really a fan of the stuff for Kurt Angle as his son.
Man, I was digging that so much.
I mean, it was a funny ha-ha joke when we were all talking about it when he was in NXT and he like, oh yeah, it looks like Kurt Angle. But then when it really happened, it was like, oh no, we were just kidding. Like it was just a joke. We didn't mean for it to be serious, and you're just like, ugh. But you know what? It was like not like this. You don't like. I think there was a lot of upside to Jason Jordan, especially once he started doing the in between kind of silly heel shit.
Yeah,
It was
really
fun.
The bad
The
baby
bad
face.
baby face, like he was just terrible at being good, and like he's a klutz, but he's still this gigantic klutz who can like toss you across the ring.
Yeah.
It was starting to work, and it felt like they were getting away from the Kurt Angle stuff.
Yeah, because they were focusing more on him with either Seth Rollins or.
Yeah, I think Roman Reigns, like Roman was in there too. This was right when Dean got injured, and then so like Jason just kind of slid in, which is weird, into that spot. So even though it was weird, it was working, and then he got hurt, and that's just such a bummer, just a bummer for him because it finally felt like I had a reason to invest in him in this story. And that's always what you want to. I mean, this is wrestling. We know what it is. So but even if we're fans of we have all of our favorite wrestlers, but we want to be invested in all parts of wrestling, and even if it's people we don't really care for. And like Jason Jordan was just a wrestler that I was just like not the biggest fan of, but it was fun to watch him wrestle, and you want to see people be successful, and for it to possibly end like this, I hope it doesn't. I hope he gets the Daniel Bryan kick out and he gets to come back and do it his way. So, do we want to address the crown jewel and the fact that why?
Well, they supposedly said that Shawn Michaels is going to be back on Raw in a couple of weeks. I say let's see what happens there before we go into it, because currently it's all just like rumors and hearsay.
That he'll possibly wrestle. I don't think he'll wrestle at the Crown Jewel. Like so the announcement basically is that Triple H is going to have HBK in his corner, Undertaker is going to have Kane in his corner. Like Mayor Kane's going to take some business days.
I mean, WWE did send Knox County, whatever, $100,000.
Yeah. WWE greasing the palms because they can, because they got that Saudi Arabia money, baby.
Man.
I don't care for this match.
Well, Undertaker versus.
No, yeah.
Triple H.
Yeah.
Is it because Triple H can't wrestle no more?
No, it's not. It's honestly not because of either man being like the twilight of their careers. It's just a matter of there are so many other young wrestlers that you have in this stinking roster, and the only reason that it's happening is because they paid some like Saudi Arabia paid them all this money, so of course they have to give them something that's going to be like an attraction you never see anywhere else. I mean, because once again, we've all seen it how many whatever times, but for Saudi Arabia, this is still new to them.
Yeah.
Like, this is still like, the fact that the Undertaker is even going to be there is like, that's a whole wow moment. So I get it. I just you did it the first time. You don't have to try it out again unless that's all. And this is like a request thing. Then cool, whatever. But man, I just don't care. It seems like everything they're doing in terms of their booking for other wrestlers is having to be put on hold for this.
Nostalgia?
Yes, for nostalgia. Because all the promos, like every week since SummerSlam, there's been a promo with either Triple H or Undertaker or HBK or whoever has come out at some point and like wasted time. Like that spot could have been for a match or another promo for building to something that's going to be interesting a couple of months from now when we get to Survivor Series and we start making our way to the Royal Rumble. I mean, the WWE calendar picks up pretty quickly after SummerSlam. So the fact that they shoehorned in two super shows in terms of the Saudi Arabia and the Australian one, in between said two super shows, you have the Women's Evolution show. It's like, that's far too much.
Wait, I think the women's one is after.
The women's one is...
It's like October 20th, or 26th.
No, the women's one is closer than like Crown Jewel's the last of the three. I think it was Australia, and then Evolution, and then Saudi Arabia. Because after it's either Saudi Arabia then Evolution or Evolution Saudi Arabia. I thought it was Evolution and then Saudi Arabia. But yes, you check that out while I keep rumbling on.
Word.
While he looks for that, looks like the WWE's got the money to start handing out longer term contracts to their independent contractor wrestlers.
Right.
Like, it's so weird. Just make them employees. Like, y'all have the money now. Don't. That's.
They got Fox money.
They got they got USA
money.
money.
Saudi Arabia money.
Just
Like,
pay them.
Y'all can make them employees.
Make them employees.
So, it's the Super Show.
In Australia first.
Yeah, in Australia. That takes place on the 6th. And then Evolution.
Yeah, Evolution
takes place on the 28th.
Yep.
And then a week later. Literally
Exactly.
a week later.
Yeah.
Like, not even a full week.
Yeah.
November 2nd.
Yeah.
Is the Crown Jewel show.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. So, I thought. Remember when we said we were getting less pay-per-views?
That's what we heard.
That's what we heard, right? But we're
I
about to get.
These aren't pay-per-views.
But how we have to watch them
On the network.
on the network? That's still pay-per-view.
No, it's not.
And
It's
since-
not an
and when you
streaming
think-
service. You're not paying per view.
You're not playing per view, but if people who don't have the streaming service want to see it, they're still gonna have it in a pay-per-view. You don't think so?
These are network exclusives, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, I still thought that they were. That seems weird to me. I feel like the WWE would still try to get that money, get some of that pay-per-view money.
Could be wrong.
We'll look into that because that's definitely something worth kind of knowing. Because I just even with them getting Fox money and USA money and Saudi, they still want more money. They still want all the loot. Give me the loot. Give me the loot. Give me the loot. Also, Matt Hardy retired.
Welcome, Matt Hardy.
Well, people always like to question, like, if somebody's retiring now, but it looks like he is. And so, favorite Matt Hardy memory?
I mean, like, you really want to know mine?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow, you're already, like, beside yourself trying to hold in the laughter.
It was because it was it's a horrible situation, but it was my favorite Matt Hardy moments when he called that radio station or the TV show that Lita was on, exposing Lita for sleeping with for sleeping with Edge and cheating on him.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Yeah, that was after they let him go, and then Lita was appearing on something on Fox, if I'm not mistaken. And Matt Hardy called, and he was like, "Hey, Amy, so how do you feel about being a lying, cheating whore?"
Wow.
And then later, once more people saw that, they started chanting, "We want Matt." Whenever Lita and Edge would come down, and they ended up bringing Matt back. And then him and Edge had their feud.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's my favorite moment. Like
What a dark time in that man's life.
But the balls of that man.
That's incredible. I mean, it definitely got him a job again.
Yeah.
Get back into the company. So I mean, good on him. I would say mine's is basically the reincarnation of Matt as broken Matt Hardy. Just where it started, where it went, how it kind of manifested itself in the WWE, and kind of became what we all thought it was going to be, and like how basically WWE doesn't know how to like take a really creator-owned gimmick, and they don't, and they just WWE'd it.
Yeah.
They just WWE'd all over it. And that's disappointing because everything we saw from Impact with Broken Matt Hardy was a thing of genius. It was a work of art.
I mean, like, even before that, when he was big money, Matt was fucking amazing. It was so good. a lot of people only like restarted watching it because of the broken stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But
I know I did. I know I had started watching Impact again because of Broken Matt Hardy.
But his Big Baller stuff was very reminiscent of like basically the English version of Okada.
Okay.
And it was wild because he really didn't care. He was making it rain. Living in like not living, but like his promos were in tubs filled with money. It was great. He was disrespectful as heck to Jeff.
Mm-hmm.
Got Jeff fired. Man, it was just some cool stuff, man.
Okay.
It was just some cool stuff. Like Big Money Matt was just one of the underrated gems. That made EC3, in my opinion.
Oh, really?
I think so.
Okay. Okay. Well, anything else for news you got? I think that's all I got for. It looks like EC3's been cleared to wrestle. I didn't know he was hurt, but.
Oh, he got cleared?
Yeah, he got cleared.
Yeah. Eye injury.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think that's I think that's all I got for right now. Besides, like, we're still not sure about Shawn Michaels returning. That's still that's just a rumor, but I want it to stay a rumor.
Yeah. Same as Jordan's career being over too. I want that to be a rumor as well.
You know, it's if my final thought on Shawn Michaels and if he ends up wrestling or in Saudi Arabia, if he does, the amount of money that they pay him has got to be 6 zeros, maybe more, 7 0. You got to, right?
Got to be.
Like, because Shawn Michaels has been the one wrestler. Look at all the wrestlers who retired and like said they were gonna retire and never come back. He's the one who hasn't.
Yep.
And I think that's in the world of wrestling. That's kind of a big deal.
10 years.
10 years. Like a decade of not wrestling and just taking it easy. That's I think when it comes to this business that we're well familiar with, just in terms of like how wrestlers get paid or how they try to stay away and do something else, they always kind of come back because they kind of need to. Not either because they miss wrestling or they need the money. Shawn Michaels doesn't need that. He doesn't have to do it for the love or the money because he's still training people.
That's what got him back. I really think working at the Performance Center gave him that itch
Maybe
again.
That itch again. Yeah, I mean,
Johnny Gargano.
You just look at. While Daniel Bryan is his most famous student,
quote unquote.
Yeah, but the dude's like taught like tons of people. Like, so he has a legacy, and he still gets to do what he loves wrestling as a teacher. So like, there's really no need for him to come back. I mean, the dude's kind of. But I mean, if the money,
probably 10 mil.
If the money's, I'm sure if they threw enough money in his face, if you're Shawn Michaels, you can only turn down so much money. I mean, that's anybody, right? Like if you're that good at what you do and you don't want to do it anymore, and somebody just throws that in your face, it's like all you gotta do one night, go to Saudi Arabia, bam. Why not? You get a free trip,
right?
Free trip to Saudi Arabia, and you wrestle for a night, and then you
already don't do drugs no more, so it's like you ain't gotta worry about nothing.
And you're in the ring with like 4 of the safest like men you've ever worked with. So I mean, there's no downside unless there's some really freak accident that happens. Like there truly is no downside to him taking his money. Like if I'm Shawn Michaels, you do it, right? That'd
be like if WWE offered CM Punk $10 million to come to Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, I mean he'd do it. He'd do it for one and only CM Punk. Saudi Arabia, $10 million. He's
no
wrestling.
Contract, nothing. Yeah. We're not even gonna talk about it on TV.
Yeah, like no. Like what in this economy you don't turn down that type of loot. I'm sorry, you just don't.
Just saying.
I mean, principles, morals, good for you, but I got bills, bro.
That's why Brock agreed to come back. He saw that money.
Yeah, I mean it's absurd how much money. Like we can sit here and like talk about money, but we don't know how much. We kind of know how much money WWE made off the deal, but I'm sure that money is an absurd amount when it comes to these contracts because we read in the news every day how just billions are being passed from television station to television station alone, just to buy them.
Ooh, but TV's dead.
Yeah, TV's dead, right? But whatever. So WWE has some loot. They have the money to spend, and if it's gonna get Shawn Michaels in the ring for one more match, cool. I mean, it's weird me saying this as a wrestling purist. Like I say that with air quotes, but 10 years and you stuck to your guns and not done it. There's a bit of respect there that you can't deny, and you kind of you hope that he stays away. But listen, we all human. If he got paid the right amount, go ahead, Sean, do your thing. Like,
I'm pretty sure he was comfortable before, but
he
now
can be extra comfortable.
Now he's good and comfortable.
I say, yeah, he can go duck hunting, geese hunting.
He could buy his own show.
He could buy his own. Yeah, he could literally create his own hunting channel probably with the money he's getting from Vince, and just like
do nothing ever again.
Like, he doesn't ever. He could just like live in camouflage clothing and his big ass boots.
Probably bump into Lesnar out there.
Man, good on HBK, but I think that's all the news and rumor stuff for now. So there was a pay-per-view this past weekend. Hell in a Cell.
Hell in a Cell.
Very good. Woke me up. I'm wide awake now. That was my caffeine. So before we get into grades and what we liked about, oh hey kitten, oh it's okay pal, it's okay. Before we get into our likes, dislikes, and the aftermath of Hell in a Cell, what were you looking forward to just from this card alone?
Oh, I was expecting a lot of disappointments.
Oh, yeah?
A lot of stuff just not living up to any hype, to be honest.
Really?
Because that's what the last couple pay-per-views been doing.
Yeah, I think until we got to the All In, we were shitting pretty hard in WWE, and then we spent like a whole hour loving wrestling again. It was wonderful.
We enjoyed SummerSlam. SummerSlam kind of rebounded a lot of WWE faults, and I didn't think they could continue with that momentum.
Yeah.
But I guess I really believe All In kind of gave them a kick in the butt in terms of actually delivering good wrestling, not just good storytelling.
Yeah.
So now, like, the wrestling was on point. Like, actually good wrestling matches. So, like, I was...
you had no match that kind of stood out to you that you were excited for?
My boy wasn't on the card, so I was like, I didn't care.
But your boy was on the card. He opened the match up. Your man...
Oh, no, not Orton.
I know.
My new number one. Andrade Cien Almas.
Oh, yeah.
He won the card, so I was like, I'm not even going to watch this live.
Yeah.
So I've been watching bits and pieces of it at home.
But you know what? I think that goes back to what we've discussed multiple shows, that not everybody makes these pay-per-views, and I'm okay with that because it just kind of saves them a night off.
Yep.
And I think that's something that hopefully the WWE does a better job with, even though they're about to do like three back-to-back pay-per-views
in 3 different countries.
Yeah, like that's not going to be ideal for a couple of guys, or probably maybe the entire roster, honestly.
Oh, we're going to probably hear more random stories about people who can't do stuff because of visas. So that's
going
to be exciting.
The international incidents of rumors and news will be fun. But, yeah, I guess then for me, the only match that I really had circled was the one that's on our TV right now, Becky versus Charlotte. It was the only match that I thought had the right amount of storytelling, even with all the who's the heel, who's the face. I don't think that was detrimental to setting up what ended up being a really. This is also a really good match too. The match ended up being really good, because I mentioned this on Twitter. I texted you when you were at class in between, your class. I texted you that holy shit. This pay-per-view was really fucking good.
Yeah.
And then 2 hours later, I was on Twitter oh shit, I jinxed it. I jinxed it by telling John that this is one of the better pay-per-views we've seen in a while. Because I was like, shit, this may actually be better than SummerSlam. And the first couple matches really had me thinking this is gonna. I mean, if you put in a bubble just the first half of Hell in a Cell, it was on par, as good or better than SummerSlam. Like it was a fun time. I didn't see the pre-show stuff, even though I was kind of hoping that the New Day and Lana versus Lana Day versus Rusev Day was going to be the opening match of the Hell in a Cell itself.
No, they announced that was on pre-card already.
See, that's the thing. I had not been really paying attention to how the pre-show was going to work out, so I had no clue. So I was a little disappointed in that.
I officially believe now that the pre-show will always have one Raw or SmackDown tag team match on it. They have never been on the same
No, you're
together.
right.
One's always been on the pre-show.
Yeah, and that's not a bad way to look at it. And the show ended at 9:30, which was also nice.
Yeah. And when I was done with class,
yeah.
I was like, yo, I'm still up north. Is the pay-per-view going on? Nah.
No, that's done. I was like, that's over, bro. Like, yeah, you texted me that, and, like, it was the end of the match. Like, it was done. I was like, nah, bro, just go home. Just go home. We'll talk. We'll shoot the shit about this stuff later, because there's no reason. So, the good. The tag match between Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins and Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler was...
Yep.
It was so good.
They literally threw everything. I saw 3 kitchen sinks in the ring.
Yeah, Drew McIntyre is a beast. He needs to be hurt and be placed in a title hunt. Not just tag titles. Like, he could be that guy who can... Like, honestly, he should be the dude holding the Intercontinental title and having the tag team titles. That belt's in the wrong place. I love what they're doing with Dolph Ziggler as a chicken shit heel who talks mad noise.
And then jumps behind.
Yeah. Oh, no. Doesn't even jump behind. Gets his ass whooped. And I think it's like Drew McIntyre... When they win the match, which, by the way, that finished with the Claymore kick out of nowhere while Dean Ambrose was getting ready... Oh... Man, like that Claymore kick looks devastating. Like that finish was dope, but that ending of Drew McIntyre just like holding Dolph Ziggler and both tag team titles on his shoulders. Yeah. Like that's a dope pick. That's just how strong he is.
Yeah, he's been doing that with Dolph. Like,
yes, exactly.
Dolph purposely gets his ass beat.
Yes. Just
Drew
so he
comes in, bang, 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 bang,
yes,
bang,
just
1, 2, 3,
dude,
and then just picks the titles and Dolph off his shoulder.
Dude, modern day HBK and Diesel, man. Like you can't help but like reminiscence, like see that in these two guys. Just main event talents in both of them, and working together perfectly as heels. They had that down, and I want this to last. I don't want the WWE to screw this up. And the fact that I said it and put it out in the air means it's going to totally get screwed up. But that's just the pessimist of me. I don't think they will. I think that Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre, in honesty, are just that damn good at what they do that the brass won't screw this up.
Yeah.
They won't screw this up.
They built the Diesel and HBK for a year in the making.
Yeah. They won't screw this up. And this is going to be... That match is really good. It may have been the match of the night, if not for Becky and Charlotte, which I loved to death. That was such a good match. Because Becky's story, then Becky's ending when like Charlotte tries to shake her hands, like, nope, this is my title.
Not gonna fill the spotlight for me.
Exactly.
She rolls out.
Yes, that was so good. Like that's.
They're about to show it.
That's heel good stuff. So, anything else good that you want that just kind of stuck out to you?
The match was really good.
Yeah, it was. Like I'm a Hardy fan, and Orton is Orton.
Are you a heel Orton fan?
Yeah, I am a heel Orton fan. I didn't want to like this match, and I did. I feel like I honestly it's just the fact that when you sit ringside at a wrestling match and you see how hard dudes go, you're always concerned about their safety. And even though you know that they're trained to do this, when it comes to Jeff Hardy and the addictions and not even the addiction, just the abuse of like drugs and alcohol with him, and the bumps he takes, they always just kind of make me squirm now. God, that's so great. Sorry, not the stuff with Jeff Hardy, but Becky Lynch just totally just the big fuck you to Charlotte in the ring, and that just makes me so happy.
My show.
Yes, my show. But back to Jeff, I just watching this stuff with the screwdriver to the ear, which doesn't really hurt because his earlobe is stretched out.
Yeah.
But that bump off the top of the cage like that.
He literally swung himself downward.
And you know, it was not the first time he's done that, because he actually did it in Impact too, in TNA. I forgot he did it in TNA, but I actually remember watching that match. But somebody showed him side by side. It's like, Jeff's done this before, so that's something we've never seen.
Don't forget, he's also done it on SummerSlam 2000 with the ladder tag team match.
Oh yeah, when he up the spear,
So
he's dangled before, and I just don't like.
But you shouldn't do that. You don't need to do that.
Especially when you don't even let somebody kind of catch you. Like Randy Orton rolled out of the way of that table, and like the table broke his fall, but the table broke.
Yeah.
Like, so there was just. I mean, I get it. Jeff Hardy's Daredevil. He ended up being okay. I think he wrestled the next night. He wrestled the next night essentially, or they just kept him off of TV.
Yeah.
But he was still okay or whatever. I get it. It's just
doesn't need to be done.
It doesn't need to be done.
Jeff Hardy,
but that match.
To this. Don't do it.
Yeah, but here's the thing. That match doesn't work. That match isn't as good as it is not taking those bumps like that, and it just.
Not gonna do that.
No. It's just one of those things where it's like a conflict. It's an internal conflict for me to objectively try to watch a match and just try to okay, what do I like about this match? Oh, these bumps are sick. I mean, Orton was bleeding all over the place too. Like, his back was a mess. But it's just like, man, those bumps are rough.
Oh, yeah.
But it was like, god damn, this is a good match. And it's just...
The red cage actually amplifies how bright the blood looks.
Yeah, which is also another quality feature of that cage. Is like, it just really shows off. It just pops a lot of things with that color. But, yikes. But no, that match was good. I can't deny it. I really cannot deny that. Yeah. See, that's why I thought this match should have been on the main card. Because Rusev is a great worker. Aiden English is not bad at what he does inside out of the ring. And then the New Day. You can't tell me that match couldn't have been on the card somewhere.
They didn't have the time.
Yeah, they did.
On your own network?
On your own network, right? But, I mean, after every... And the funny part is, okay, let's get to the bad. So...
Can we talk about Alexa Bliss and Rondy?
And Rondy. Was that... Yeah, I mean...
That was a low part for me.
That was bad. Let's say the bad. Can we? Yes, we can. It, once again, shows Ronda Rousey's shortcomings. I think that they're still trying to protect her. So they had a lot of heel interference going on there with Foxy and Mickey, kind of working her over as Bliss kind of did her own thing in the corner, getting the ref to get distracted. But I still don't care. And this match was... Alexa Bliss can only do so much. Because Alexa Bliss is still Alexa. I mean, Alexa Bliss is good in the ring. I mean, but the women we talked about in Bayley and Sasha are still better than her in the ring. So you have Ronda Rousey out there who's still very new to wrestling. Not MMA, wrestling. Trying to work with Alexa Bliss, who's good, but not great. So this was everybody else trying to help out the two women in the ring. Even though, it's funny, everybody surrounding the ring, Natalya, Foxy, and, wow, how did I just forget her name?
What is her name?
Mickie James. How did I almost do that? Whoa. Every lady who was around the ring, a far better wrestler. Who
then
honestly...
the 2 people in the ring.
Yeah, then the 2 people in the ring. I mean... But the argument's always this, is that even the best wrestlers aren't going to be in the main event or be the champions. And I get that. That's a part of wrestling. Charisma is actually what gets you titles, in all honesty. Having the ability to entertain is what puts you in like these positions that Bliss and Ronda Rousey find themselves in. And we know Bliss can be entertaining. That's not a debate. I'm still debating if Ronda Rousey is entertaining aside from her name. Like I am not a fan of her work in the ring thus far. Like, I still think her best match was the one at WrestleMania in the intergender stuff. But that's just me. I think that there are people who really are about it, and I'm just kind of like, okay.
I actually enjoyed her match at Money in the Bank with Nia Jax. I think they actually have some pretty good chemistry that they can actually explore later.
I don't think that was Nia Jax she wrestled at Money in the Bank.
Nia Jax was champ, bro.
She didn't beat Nia Jax. Alexa Bliss beat Nia.
They were having a championship match. Alexa Bliss cashed in, bro.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always forget that it was a Money in the Bank because she won it earlier in the night. God, man. That felt like it was a long time ago. Because I keep forgetting that there's the Money in the Bank on the men's side hasn't been like on TV in forever. So it's just like, wait, there was a Money in the Bank match? I was like, oh yeah, there was. And also the fact that Nia Jax hasn't been around in forever too. Since she hasn't been around.
No, she showed back up.
No, I'm saying I know she showed back. Yeah, I know she's back. She was in the match in Ember Moon. But I'm saying in between Hell in a Cell and prior to, she was injured, quote unquote. So it's like Nia Jax just kind of ceased to exist to me, which is saying a lot as a big Nia Jax fan. But she just wasn't on TV, and all this other stuff was happening. So it's just like, I forgot about her. And I feel bad saying that. That's why I was like, wait, Nia Jax wrestled Ronda Rousey? I was like, oh yeah, she did. And I remember, oh yeah, it's coming back now. Because actually, I was with you on that. I think we were watching it here together. I think we both were like, wow, Nia Jax is and Ronda really put on a good match.
Yeah.
And they did. I think there's something to the fact that Ronda does better with like opponents either bigger than her or just like Alexa Bliss is really small.
She's 5 foot.
Yeah, but but for some reason when it comes to her fighting Ronda, it just seems like the match just doesn't work.
Maybe Alexa is
I don't know.
A shot caller. Maybe that's what it is.
That's
maybe Nia was calling the match with her and Ronda. Maybe
that's interesting because even the match with Nia and Alexa, it worked. I never felt. I mean, it.
You talking about their Mania match?
Yeah, their Mania match. Like it worked well. Like I thought that even though it should have been a little bit shorter, just because I mean she was Nia Jax squashed her, but it still worked. For some odd reason, when I was watching Bliss and Ronda, I'm like, it just doesn't seem to be much chemistry there. They don't seem to have much chemistry in there.
And Rousey is she's still too new to be able to figure out how to make her style mesh with others at that moment.
That's what's kind of killing it for me. I think that they could have slow played Ronda winning the title. They really could have. And I get you want to cash in on her marketability, her name, but Ronda Rousey's still going to be around. Like that's actually the really cool thing about the Ronda Rousey stuff is that she actually has been on Raw. She's been on Raw consistently since she signed on. Like yeah, she was doing her movie deals early in her career, but since the better part of the summer, she's been on television a lot, and she's been at the shows a lot. So I like that. I think that that's gonna help her get better. I just don't think her in-ring stuff is going to be as good for a while. I mean, once again, I don't think the Shayna Baszler Ronda Rousey comparison is too far off base when I say that is that Shayna Baszler had time to grow within NXT and she was so much better off for it. So when she won the NXT Women's title, she was really ready to carry it. And her reign as NXT champion was awesome. Like I really enjoyed watching her be the champ and talk all the shit and back it up every time. Even when she was when she almost won the classic, I was like, alright, she's gonna be something. And like you steadily saw that, like, because even in her earlier matches, like she was still trying to like, you know, get her footing. So, so I think that I kind of wish they did that with Ronda Rousey, and kind of gave her that.
It's too big of a star to go to NXT.
I know, but I'm saying just do it on the main roster.
Slow burn it?
Just slow burn it on the main roster.
They were gonna do that because she's too big of a star. They had to put the belt on. Like think about that.
I don't think
for
you
real.
had to do. I don't think you had to put the
Name a
belt on.
bigger star that come in who didn't go straight to the top.
I mean, there has Ken Shamrock.
Ken Shamrock wasn't UFC champion though.
Ken Shamrock was an MMA champion. Like the UFC wasn't around back then. He was a champion in what basically would have equated to what UFC is now.
But it wasn't that big, is what I'm saying. Like he.
But that's the only equation you can make to a mixed martial artist like Ronda Rousey being a star. Ken Shamrock is that, and so was Dana B. Severn, and neither one of them actually became like WWE champion. As high as Ken Shamrock went was the IC championship, and it still wasn't as fast as what Ronda Rousey has accomplished now.
Look at what they did with Kurt Angle. He didn't go to OVW. He didn't go to any like development.
But yeah, I mean, I still think that it's kind of the same thing. And he didn't win. He won. I thought we were comparing MMA fighters, not like Olympians. I guess.
No.
Yeah, I was like, wait a second. I thought
because
Kurt Angle wasn't really. I mean, if we're saying Cam Shamrock wasn't that big of a star, Kurt Angle wasn't. I mean, I didn't know who Kurt Angle was when he showed up in the WWE.
Oh, you watched the Olympics?
No, I can't even front to you. I was like, who is Ken Shamrock? Even when that's the funny part. Like whenever they brought an Olympian, like when Mark Henry debuted and when Ken Shamrock debuted, I had no clue who they were. Yeah,
I know. I watched Strongman, and I was a huge Olympic enthusiast.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
no, that's fine. That makes sense.
Didn't have cable.
Yeah, no, because like all I did was watch wrestling, so like I had no clue who either of those cats were. Only reason I knew who Ken Shamrock was because the internet was still in its infancy, but any wrestling news I saw also kind of threw all the wrestling and like mixed martial arts news together on a site, so you would hear about Ken Shamrock. But I still didn't click on those links, so I only knew the name.
Yeah.
So yeah, at least I had a name, I guess, when Ken Shamrock debuted and they called him a star. Like I was like, oh, okay, I've heard of this cat, but he still didn't get elevated to the heights that Kurt or Ronda did, and even Kurt Angle too. That was also surprising too when he like got shot to the moon, especially over Rock and Stone Cold. It was like, oh, okay. Like
that was because of I want to say 9/11, if I'm not mistaken.
No, that was a 9/11 thing. Like that after, but even before that, he was like the European champion. And he had all the belts for that. Yeah, so I mean, he was still kind of rising up in the ranks still pretty quickly.
He was that mid-card guy you knew was going to be the next guy.
Yeah. So they could do that with Ronda. But they don't have a women's mid-card. They don't have a women's mid-card per se. So I mean, there's no easy comparison. There's no
evidence.
No apple to apple comparison. Exactly. There's no evidence of what we're seeing with Ronda. But your point still stands that theirs was the only choice they kind of could make, which is still like at the cost of all the other women, like and young women wrestlers who are better than her. It's like, I still feel like they could have waited. But that is just me. But I guess let's put a close on that one. In terms of the bad, I guess, do we want to get into the final match?
See, the final match, right? The final match is not good or bad. It's like both. The finish was stupid.
The finish was so stupid. The finish was so stupid.
To a really good match.
It was a really good match, and then they did all the schmaz shenanigans stuff.
For what?
For what? Like, why did Dolph Ziggler and Seth Rollins have to take that bump off the cage to the tables. Like, why?
We can't risk Roman or Braun being hurt.
So then why even exactly? So why even
God
do that?
damn it!
And then why were Dean Ambrose and Drew McIntyre on top of the cage?
Why
was Mick Foley the special guest referee? Just because it was if it was just because it was an anniversary of Hell in a Cell, that's a weak reason. And also he kind of almost botched a pin that was also really kind of weird. And then the commentary had to kind of like figure out what happened. Yeah, so it was just this was like a comedy of errors. And in between the comedy of errors, a solid wrestling match is actually happening in the ring. Once again, Roman Reigns continues to be a good wrestler.
Roman Reigns will always be.
No, I'm just saying that for people who try to hate on Roman Reigns, shame on you, because there's no reason to. He is doing his job and he continues to do it well.
Very well.
Braun Strowman continues to be both of these dudes basically made each other. Their matches. But basically just cemented them as the top guys in terms of just like putting on a show and dominating and everything looking so real and just being like just two big hosses working.
Yeah.
Just let there be a finish to this.
Not yet. I think they're saving it for Rumble. I think they're waiting on that culmination at Rumble.
Crown Jewel, man. Crown Jewel.
Isn't the Crown Jewel the sixth man? Aren't the rumors are going around saying that's going to be
the sixth man is in Australia.
That's Australia? That's a super show?
The Crown Jewel is a triple threat. It's Brock, Roman,
No, you're absolutely correct.
Braun.
You think Braun's going to do it?
I would be more surprised if he didn't.
At the Crown Jewel?
At the Crown Jewel.
Even though it's non-canon?
Even though it's non-canon.
Wow.
Write
that down. That's your prediction now.
Only because there has to be one. I don't think the Undertaker match is going to Undertaker Triple H match is going to be what kind of solidifies that show as like a wow moment, like a wrestle. Every like
just his entrance.
Yeah, every pay-per-view or like wrestling or WWE moment now has moments within moments. So every pay-per-view is going to have that like wow. Like the Hell in a Cell was supposed to be with the guys falling off the cage. Was supposed to be that moment. I think the Crown Jewel would be Braun Strowman winning in Saudi Arabia and coming back with the title. I'm calling that.
Write it down.
Okay, I'm writing it down.
Crown Jewel, Saudi Arabia, November 2nd. Braun Strowman equals WWE Universal Champ. Because that's how I would write my notes.
Yeah. No, that's all. I don't think you can. You can if you do the. If you do what me and you talked about in the text, where Baron Corbin steals his money in the bank, a briefcase, then you stretch it out, and then that goes in a different direction for sure.
Someone on Cage side brought it up.
Yeah, but I don't see that happening.
Why not? Why not give the most hated man that no one wants to see as champion the belt?
Well, because
nuclear heat and build two megastars in the process.
Because it just makes too much sense, John.
Right.
It makes too much sense.
Right.
It's too it's the logical storytelling aspect of this entire everything that's been happening in Raw. There's still a twinge of logic to a lot of the shit they're doing. It's just that they refuse to go full logic. I think if they did that, they still have to look themselves in the mirror about Finn Balor's championship rematch. That's still not really ever.
Didn't Roman Reigns grant that to him when Roman Reigns after SummerSlam?
Did that actually happen? That was real?
Didn't they have a fight?
I thought. Well,
that might have been Reigns' open challenge.
Maybe it was an open challenge. I thought it was an open challenge. I don't think that was actually like his rematch. I thought it was an open challenge.
I'm gonna have to watch that Raw again to see the verbiage of. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, if the verbiage is what you say it is, then maybe he did get it. But I thought it was an open challenge.
Ain't no way you should be challenging them for Universal title, not in your Demon Man mode, Finn.
Yeah.
His Demon's still undefeated.
Yeah, I get. I mean,
Whatever
the
that
demons
means.
know that. Yeah, but I say, what does that like? What does that even really mean? Um, what do you give a grade for this show, man?
Uh, I give it a C. I was gonna give it a B, but the ending and the women's championship match for Raw, they weren't enough. Like they brought the show and pacing down very badly for the show that was actually on some tremendous momentum.
Yeah. This match. Okay, the first half of this pay per view was a B plus, and then the second half happened, and we didn't even mention which meant another like top match, which was AJ and Joe, and the tap out pin
Pinfall.
questionable finish, which was also really good, and the commentators kind of shit on it in a stupid way. Um,
They
but
have to say about their good counter commentary from Mick Foley, bro.
yeah, they were really bad at like they're the commentators. They have extra views of the ring. They saw AJ Styles tap out, but they kept questioning if he tapped out. It's like, man, it's on TV. We all saw it. Stop being weird about
All
this.
saw it.
Like, stop being weird about it and be objective commentators like you're supposed to be. It was a really weird moment that also ruined the story that was being told within the AJ Joe match, which is like annoying that even commentary at times is even like kind of wrecking this show. So I would give this show a C plus because it had too many good moments for it to really be bad, but the
Man,
bad moments really
sucked.
yeah, they really like just kind of like just suck the wind out of everybody's sails, you know. So yeah, aftermath of Hell in a Cell, we got to see Becky close out SmackDown, which I thought was tremendous. Even though I missed SmackDown, I did read that she was the closing segment,
Yep.
and she dropped shot like a bad habit, which was wonderful. So that was cool. Almas and
Almost an
AJ was
Rusev Day breaking up.
Rusev Day breaking up and just
Heel-
throwing the nail in the coffin with heel
Nope.
Aiden.
We got heel Aiden, we got babyface Rusev, so we shouldn't be mad.
I mean, but will there be a payoff to babyface Rusev besides him beating Aiden heel, and then Aiden fading off into the distance until Rusev becomes a heel again? You say no, but that's totally what's gonna happen.
No, I'm saying no, as in there's not going to be a payoff.
Yeah, yeah. Which is even worse.
I just didn't want to say that on air.
Yeah, which is even worse because
If there is no payoff, they need to pump fake us and say, haha, just kidding. Rusev, they back together again. You know what I mean?
yeah, we won't even get that. We won't even get that. We will. That's the worst part about this is that if it's true that you don't think they'll have a payoff, both of these dudes were really fun to watch together.
Yep.
God, they're. I don't. The New Day don't need the tag titles.
Nope.
Rusev Day would have been what I think elevated the tag titles to a little bit more fun.
More fun than New Day?
New Day is fun without the titles. I'm saying.
Oh.
I'm saying that you can put Rusev Day in programs with other like tag teams, and it won't be boring like the Legend Brothers. I think Rusev Day has the ability to be entertaining as well as like good, like defenders of the tag team titles. I mean, we already know what the New Day can do.
Yeah.
We
Give
don't
them a single championship.
yeah. Let them actually try to do that faction stuff with like the United States title or the championship, whatever. At this point, New Day's printing money. But let Rusev Day try to prove themselves as the champions, going up against the Usos or Sanity, or when Breezango was healed again, Breezango. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like just anything but what we already know of the tag team title division. That's all I'm saying. Like there kind of needs to be a little more variety, and that's. I feel good saying that. Like I don't feel like I'm being dismissive of the New Day. It's just that the New Day is just that damn good at their job.
it.
Yeah, they're that damn good at their job that they don't need the titles to be the pinnacle of whatever
Yeah.
in WWE. Like they're just going to be amazing, whatever they do.
I mean, they need to give him the world title.
Put it together, but put it on Kofi Kingston and let's ride. But that's my dream. That'll never happen.
It might. It might. It's gender.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So I mean, I just think that the time is now to start setting